Welcome everyone, this is Like It's 1985. Today's review is the Mobile Suit in Action Gouf Ignited from Gundam Seed Destiny. Being a Mobile Suit in Action, this is an action figure, it's not a model kit. For those of you who are not familiar with Mobile Suit in Action, this guy is about 4 inches. I mean, if you count the tip of his helmet there, it'd be closer to 4 and 3/4, but gives you an idea of the size. Picked this guy up for basically $20. I got this guy along with the Providence Gundam for a total of $40 shipped. So I'm just kind of factoring the shipping into the price of the figure. So yeah, $20 for like a 4-inch action figure from Gundam. A little pricey. Would have preferred to pay more like 15. But anyways, I picked this out. I had no familiarity with it as far as the anime. I'm still working my way through Gundam Seed Destiny, but I just like the look of him. Let's go ahead and take a look at him right now. Of course, he's got this kind of the flyer pack on his back. Reading a little bit on about this Gundam. Apparently, what this allows him to do is not only fly, near Earth, but also in space. So it has that versatility. Obviously, you can take a look at the shield right now. What he does have in terms of his weapons, just right out of the box, if you see there, this thing right there, it is called the 4-barrel beam gun. So he's got one of those on each arm. One over here too. So really, pretty nice figure. It's the color. It's kind of a, for lack of a better description, kind of a dirty orange. For some reason, I had thought that this would be more of a neon orange or a brighter orange. Not that it's a bad color. My expectations were a little different. I might have been confused with the Blaze Zaku or something like that. But anyways. Yeah, it's nice. It comes packaged, obviously, with the shield packaged separately. This part, the flyer detaches. As far as the articulation with the wings, you got like that, and then these individual winglets here also articulate as well. As does, I believe, this is called a tail binder, I think. So yeah, pretty nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Okay, so articulation time. I decided to leave his flight pack on just because of the fact that off camera it wasn't budging at all, so I didn't want to wrestle too much with it. So, but you know, the shoulders can go 360. The head can go 360, although you kind of have to force it just a little bit because the bottom of the back of the helmet brushes up against the Gundam's armor, or the shoulders there. So that's kind of limiting, but it does rotate 360. There's a swivel at the upper arm, and then of course the elbow bends like so. Of course there's wrist articulation. There is a little bit of slight waist articulation, left and right, and then just a tad that way. If you take a look at the skirt armor, this back piece is a really kind of almost hard piece of plastic, so it's very inflexible. So you're not going to get a lot of, as far as the hips go, you're not going to get a lot of movement back that way. But these front skirts go all the way up like that. So you can see he's got that kind of articulation there. I can go a little bit out like that. There is no swivel at the upper leg like there sometimes is. Got a bend at the knee, as you can see. Just a slight swivel. It's more just because there's a gap there, and not so much that it's actually a swivel, but there is movement that way. And his front skirt fell off. And then of course you've got the ball jointed ankle, so you've got quite a range of movement there as well. In terms of the the weapons, or the accessories, we've already looked at the shield, as you can see. And you can. It looks like you can mount it in his fist, or you can just, like I had it on before, you can just plug it into the side, right where the four beam cannons are. Whoops. And comes with this, what is called a what is referred to as a Slayer whip. Now, what this is in the anime is that it's what happens is this piece can wrap around an enemy mobile suit and then deliver a shock to the pilot inside. In addition, this whip produces so much heat that on weaker armored mobile suits, it can actually cut clean through the whole mobile suit. So that's pretty cool. But as you can see, you get a piece of some pretty hard translucent pink plastic. What you can do from the you can plug it into his hand, and then plug the hand into the wrist area. Now, see this gray plastic there? I guess in the anime it's supposed to shoot out of that part in his forearm, but you kind of have to sort of simulate it like this, kind of get it to in a position where it's kind of like it's sort of coming out of his wrist, but it's not really. There's no plug in that gray piece there. It's just, I'm just letting you know that's how it actually functions in the anime. So just so if you're curious, so he's got this whip he can whip his enemies with. Now, my favorite part of this, my favorite accessory, is the sword. This is called the Beam Sword Tempest. What I notice about it is the fact that the core, as you can see, is a solid piece of probably metal or some kind of alloy. But then you have two beams on the edge of the blade, as you can see there. Now these indentations here, what's supposed to happen is this can, when it's not being used, it can fold up and it can become this length. As you can see, it just folds up. So you're getting two swords per se, but it's really meant to be one sword, because this does not collapse down like it does in the anime. It's supposed to collapse down so it looks like this, and then what you can do is you can store it here in the shield area, which is really cool. I like that. Since you have, let's see, you have 3 right hands and 2 left hands. I can kind of show you briefly here. Here's the right hand, and then you've got these 2 hands. Interestingly enough, this hand here, while it could hold the sword just fine, looks like it's almost like a trigger finger hand, but according to the research I did on the internet, this guy does not have a beam rifle per se. He's got the beam cannons, the beam cannons, the beam guns on his wrist mounts there, mounted on his wrist, but doesn't have a actual handheld rifle, a beam rifle. So I don't know what that hand is for, but it can hold a sword. So what you can do, is going back to my original train of thought, you could display him with the 2 swords, like he has a long sword and a short sword maybe. I mean, you can pretend that he has 2 swords. That's probably what I'll do, since I'm a big fan of swords with any kind of action figure, Gundam or Transformer. I like swords, so I'll probably display him with these 2 in his hands. I'm not a big fan of as far as the whip goes, but yeah, that's the accessories. So with these modern mobile suit and action figures, you get a pretty good posability. As you can see, this is probably how I'll display him. As you can see, you can pose him to allow him to draw his blade and also kneel as well. So I think that's pretty cool. And as I was talking about earlier, you could technically put both swords in both hands and have a kind of a long beam blade and a regular short sword, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty good figure. So final thoughts on this. If you take away the swords and the flyer pack and the shield, what you're essentially left with is a Gouf that you've seen before. I mean, that's kind of one of the strengths and slash weaknesses of maybe Gundam Seed Destinies, they draw a lot upon the past mobile suits. And frankly, I think they do a good job of improving. It's kind of like reinventing the wheel. You know, it's like, yeah, sure, they had wheels back in the day, but you know, we have much better wheels now. But anyway, so if it wasn't for the accessories and you already had a Gouf, I'd probably say pass on it. But if you like the sword, if you like the flyer pack, and you maybe want another Gouf mobile suit in action in your collection, then I think it's a cool one to have. Yeah, so this has been my review of the mobile suit in action Gouf Ignited. Until the next review, bye.